Today I'm going to talk about the auction of Tarrega's guitar. Se Remate la Guitarra de Tarrega, the auction of Tarrega's guitar. This comes from page 1532 of my book, Annotations for the History of the Classical Guitar in Argentina, Volume 2, 1822 to 2000s, 4-volume, 21-pound set. It's available for $300, shipping included worldwide. This is from the Guion, number 16, Wednesday, June 14th, 1939, from the archive of Ricardo Muñoz, author of Historia de la Guitarra in 1930. By Segundo B. Gana, translation Randy Osborne. Made by the most famous of the luthiers and played by the most famous of the guitarists, the historic instrument will be auctioned off with a reserve of 1,800 pesos. It's about $1,800. In the Banco Municipal de Prestimos, Municipal Bank of Loans, lot number 46,002, reserve of 1,800 pesos. Tarrega's guitar, constructed by Antonio de Torres, 1817 to 1892, in Seville in the year 1864. Maple body with a delicate purfling of marquetry, forming small yellow wheat grains over the green background in various areas. A few more short lines follow to describe the artistry of the instrument, and that is much as said in the catalog of the Banco Municipal de Prestimos of Buenos Aires. In one of its salons, it will be auctioned off on Thursday, June 22nd, 1939. The preferred guitar of Francisco Tarrega, the most famous of the guitarists. You can't but think of the depth in a serious, in a dramatic problem of those that set forth the daily economy in all of the homes where there isn't an excess of money. Before the announcement of the auction, the guitar, it tells us, belongs to Maria Luisa Anido, the foremost artist of this difficult art of Argentina. Here's a picture of Luis Castellanos and Ricardo Muñoz with the guitar in between them. Translation of the caption: Messrs. Castellano and Muñoz, both technicians and knowledgeable about the secrets of the art of making guitars, pose for Guion, along with the guitar destined for auction, Tarrega's guitar. In one of the safe deposit boxes of the Banco Municipal, the valuable guitar case is kept, resting along with others of less value, humble and somewhat sad. The guitar of Francisco Tarrega, the creator of the modern guitaristic school, excellent artist of the delicate instrument. There it awaits for the moment of the auctioneer, right after making his eulogy and distinguishing its merits, commencing to receive offers, to finally lower the hammer, assigning it to who knows, if a lover of the things of art, or maybe to an eccentric who likewise might have acquired a hair of the beard of Pancho Sierra, or to a merchant only concerned with the greedy profit. It was among the many guitars that Tarrega played his preferred. It accompanied him until the last moments of his life, and with it he attained the resonant successes of the humblest origin, to the extreme of having to withstand hunger and doing without to be able to continue his studies, that to the extent in certain circumstances they were paid by his fellow students, the magician of the guitar, the man with the demon in his fingers, the student of Ciego de la Marina, the blind Galician guitarist, and holder of the prestige of all of Spain. Tarrega, in one word, reaped the best compliments of his admirable career, playing the instrument picked up by Buenos Aires for exhibiting in a show window of the Monte Pio. This piece may be the only one of its origin by its quality and by its history, as well as anecdotes, logically that it might have them, because it isn't precisely an inanimate thing, It brings the spirit of its maker, the soul of its brilliant owner. On the label that identifies it, it reads Por D, standing for Don, talented, Antonio.There, Sevilla, Calle de la Serrajeria, numero 32, año 1864. A little bit further below, another label declares Enrique Garcia, Levanto fondos y reparó el interior in Barcelona, año 1897. Enrique Garcia removed the back and repaired the inside in Barcelona, year 1897. Sitting next to me is a spruce and maple guitar made by Enrique Garcia in 1897. Examining the instrument, I don't know which to admire the most, the exquisite delicateness of its construction or the formidable work of the restorer. We verified as to why it needed to be repaired, and it was explained to us by Luis Castellano, chief of appraisals of the bank and one of the foremost experts of musical instruments, and by Ricardo Muñoz, the foremost Argentine authority on guitaristic concerns. You know, in Argentina, 5,000 people a week were going to guitar concerts. No other city in the world had that amount of aficionados that could not just stay home when there was a guitar concert to be enjoyed. 5,000 people a week. You had 2.5 million people in 1930 that lived in Buenos Aires. It was a consequence of which on a certain night Tarrega returned from giving a concert in one of those halls favored by lovers of good music in Paris, France. He was riding towards his living quarters in a Simone when suddenly, arriving at a corner, another cart smashed into the vehicle. The coach ended up being pulled apart, and the guitar of the brilliant artist within its case was run over by the long, narrow, two-wheeled cart, causing injuries of a relative magnitude. Anyone else less than Tarrega would have been resigned and would have considered the guitar at its end, but he didn't want to be separated from his lifelong glorious companion, and immediately had it sent to Barcelona so that Garcia, at the time the foremost guitar maker of the world, would restore it. Tarrega's house in Barcelona was about 1.37 miles away from Garcia's shop, 20-minute walk. Here's a photo, part of the auction. Picture of Tarrega holding the guitar. In a corner of the storehouse of the Montepio, of also waiting its turn, also to be put up for auction, there was a portrait of the Maestro Tarrega, done more than 3 decades ago. The luthier Taurus. It isn't in our spirit to insist about the only figure that with the guitar has gathered the most thunderous applause and gleeful eulogies. His earned fame is well known, his Preludios, his Danzamora, his Capriccio Arab, they haven't been erased from mankind's memory, and to his remembrance one can add his brilliant disciples Llobet and Pujol for making it last throughout years and years over the lands and under all the heavens. Equally an interesting consequence in the sphere of his share of the market, the guitar maker Antonio.There is less known in general and to the point of being ignored by many. Among the cultivators of his art, because of the artisan labor involved in making guitars, Antonio.There occupies the first level. No one denies this position of honor among guitar makers of whatever epoch. He was born in San Esteban de Almeria on June 18, 1817, and died in the same city on November 19, 1892. His magnificent labor is comprised of two well-defined epochs, one between 1850 and 1869, and the other terminating at the end of his life. The pieces constructed by him in the first epoch are the most highly prized, and to this period belongs the guitar that has given the origin of this article. Here's a picture of the handout to the attendees of the auction. You can see here, lote number 46,002. Reserve price of 1,800 pesos, $1,800. At that time, the peso was equal to the dollar. Equal. Guitarra de Tarrega construida por Antonio de Torres. Translation. Guitar of Tarrega constructed by Antonio de Torres, 1817-1892, in Seville, the year 1894. Beech body with delicate contours of marquetry, forming small yellow ears of grain, somewhat wider than that on the edge. The soundboard is Stockholm pine of matchless quality, a large rosette of central mosaics, and the diminutive checkerboard of colored harmony between the ears of grain similar to those of the back and the outlines. The headstock is decorated with a clear Grecian shield over an obscure background. Mr. Castellano tells us the notable aspects of the guitars by Torres is the mosaics, in which he combines the colors black, red, green, and yellow in soft tones, done in a few minute checkerboards, and it's characterized by the placement of very small yellow grains of wheat over a background of green that no one had been able to repeat until now, and in the headstocks of his guitars. There were the extent of his ability must be put on the surface, the signature of Torres, as if it had been stamped with a tool. De Torres was a disciple of the famous guitar maker J. Pernas, but soon surpassed his maestro. I wrote that this is a now known to be debated information due to the research by the recently late Jose Romanillas. He has been, in honor of the truth, the creator of the modern guitar. He imposed the mechanical gears without end. Nobody before him had adorned with mosaics as he did. It was he who had given the guitar its form and present dimensions. It was so much in his ability to demonstrate to his colleagues in arriving at the construction of papier-mâché guitar, with the exception of the soundboard made of pine. To define him in a few words, I can't repeat enough of saying of Pujol, De Torres is the Stradivari of the guitar. Ricardo Muñoz declares, all the rest of the great guitar makers, Garcia, Ramirez, Pascual Viudas, Simplicio, can be considered students of De Torres, with all the authority of his experience. To continue, Tarrega's guitar must stay in Buenos Aires. We have been able to corroborate at the bank that the auction of Tarrega's guitar has awakened a unique interest and enthusiasm in many points where the awareness of it has become known. Letters from Cuba, from Venezuela, the United States, from France, all the way to Japan, from where letters have been received asking details and making offers. I don't know who intervened in circulating the capricious and ridiculous versions, exclaimed Ricardo Muñoz with a certain irritation, at the same time giving us the ability to read a letter received by him from Havana, whose signer asked for his advice in respect to, according to what they have told me, the guitar is in bad condition and isn't playable. Continuing in the theme, he tells us, it is a historic piece with a value that is priceless. If we were dealing with Paganini's violin, for example, you would see how the Italian government would search for the purchase at whatever cost and acquire it and bring it to Rome. With his help, we will finish in deciphering the photograph of the instrument. The following writing is handwritten and signed by Maria Luisa Anido to certify the authenticity of the guitar. 1864 Antonio de Torres guitar that belonged to Don Francisco Tarrega, obtained by my father through the intervention of Domingo Prat in the year 1917. So there's a picture of the guitar with her signature and words written down there describing the instrument. In effect, the guitar was transferred to the prestigious Argentine aficionado Juan Carlos Anido by the family, Tarrega's family, of the brilliant artist as a gift for his daughter Maria Luisa, who already has distinguished herself as a magnificent promise today made into a exquisite reality. She was 10 years old when this guitar came into her hands. What the bank must do, adds Mr. Muñoz, is to donate it to a museum and not to auction it. As well, it could be acquired, by example, by the Museo Fernandez Blanco Museum, adds one of the bystanders. The reporter, quickly reasoning, says it's becoming more and more clear, seeing undoubtedly arriving at an irrefutable conclusion that the Torres guitar must not be allowed to leave the country, this relic of priceless value to those who know the art and its enchantment. And intimately convinced person of not having had an extravagant occurrence, absurd and ridiculous, stamped his thought as words in a cast mold, with the vain desire of finding an echo. According to Héctor Garcia Martínez, my co-author, the guitar was purchased by her friends and students and given back as a gift to Maria Luisa Anido. There is detail to its buyer on the next page. From the Remate or Extraordinario catalog, the references of authenticity by Domingo Prat in his Diccionario de Guitarristas 1934, and Emilio Pujol's November 3rd, 1930 lecture, La Guitarra y su Historia, The Guitar and Its History. The guitar, whose photograph we reproduce, is unique in the world. It was constructed in 1864 by the most excellent luthier, Antonio de Torres, creator of the modern guitar, and it belonged to the unsurpassable concert guitarist Francisco Tarrega, who considered it his favorite instrument, utilizing it in his performances until the last days of his life. His family ceded it to the intelligent Argentine aficionado Don Juan Carlos Anido for his distinguished daughter, Maria Luisa Anido. She played her first concert at the age of 9 in 1916. The mentioned guitar, dignified piece of a museum, isn't only a perfect work of cabinet work, but a success in its unequaled acoustics. Its qualities have been cited in the dictionaries of the specialty, and to continue we transcribe some of those references. Prat, Diccionario, page 393, line 37. The author of this Diccionario in the year 1917 acquired from Buenos Aires a guitar Torres constructed in 1864. Some opine that it is having to do with being the best guitar. This belonged to Tarrega. In the same page, line 6, in the year 1929, according to the photographs that we have to view, the Roy's House of Paris has announced for sale and in 100,000 francs a Torres guitar. Line 23, in 1916, an Andalusian merchant named Jimenez presented in Barcelona a Torres that he offered for 25,000 pesetas. That was about $3,000 at the time. Pujol lecture, La Guitarra y su Historia, the guitar and its history, given in the Salon La Argentina on the 3rd of November of 1930, page 37, line 10. The guitars of Torres, every day scarcer, have come to obtain in the present fabulous prices. One of them was sold in Barcelona some years ago for 27,000 pesetas. Another figured in the latest exposition, fixed at a sum of 125,000 pesetas. That was about $17,125 at the time. That was the 1858 very ornate guitar by Torres that won the award in 1858 in Sevilla. The Municipal Bank of Buenos Aires certified the authenticity of this guitar, being a disposition of the interested probationary documents which are given to the acquirer of the instrument. From the Radio en el Mundo section, Radio in the World, of the Caras y Caretas magazine of July 15, 1939, issue number 2127. Translation: Radio Excelsior offers 1,000 pesos bonus to the buyer of the guitar of Tarrega. the desire is to return it to the concert guitarist Maria Luisa Anido. The management of the Radio Excelsior is prepared to pay a bonus of 1,000 pesos above the 1,800 pesos. So this would be a total of about $2,800. Probably enough to buy 4 Chevrolet pickup trucks at that time. Paid in the Banco Municipal for the guitar of Tarrega, auctioned off just a few days ago, with the end of being to surrender it at once again to Maria Luisa Anido, the reputable concert guitarist to whom it belonged in the latest years. It is the desire of the management of Radio Excelsior to return to the intelligent artist her instrument of labor, with which it is so accredited for her notable interpretive endowments in the world. If this succeeds, the management of the same broadcaster has the purpose to organize an extraordinary concert in which the guitar will be returned to her before the public. So here's a picture of this article in El Mundo, in the world. And this is from the Caras y Caretas magazine of July 15th, 1939, issue number 2127.